All right. Thanks so much, Tim. And hello to everyone who's joining us, and especially to the board. We're excited to give this this next iteration of the Meadowbrook playground renovation. It's had lots of public input, and tonight we're going to go through these 5 pieces. We're going to look at that project planning and schedule just to show you where we are in the process. And we're going to look at the survey number 3 results. And then we'll go into the playground components and master plan features that came right out of those survey results. And then you'll get to see the preliminary master plan numerous times through this. So you can kind of get a feel of where all the pieces and parts are and how it is proposed to look. And finally, at the end, we'll look at playground equipment colors. So you'll see lots of colors throughout this, but in the end, we have 3 different choices that we're hoping we get lots of community input with the survey. It will be survey number 4 that goes out there and be able to hear what everybody thinks about those options. All right. So here's our schedule. Right here, our 3rd public meeting, June 7th. We have completed all of this site analysis, schematic design, and preliminary master plan. And hopefully many of you have been involved in those pieces, and we'll be excited to see what we're showing tonight. The next pieces coming up is we're going to make updates to the plan based on this next number 4 survey, and then talk with the park district again about making sure we kind of got that right. And then it'll go into final master plan with the completion here. And there'll be a couple more options to be able to look at that. All right. And where do you want to get all your information? Right here, www.urbanaparks.org. And under projects, you'll see the Meadowbrook Playground Planning. That's where you'll be able to link onto the images from this presentation tonight, the recorded presentation, as well as the survey. All right, so let's look at what came back from the community. We have 3 different concept themes. And those all went along with structures and layouts and lots of different equipment. So we separated those out for the survey to let people pick their favorites in each concept. So the top theme of the 3 themes was treetop adventures. So 55.5% of the community voted for treetop adventures. Next was the layout plans. And again, there were 3 layout plans, and A and C both tied at 39.1%. So they both were favored. And then B, our layout for pollinators at play, was our least likely that to get votes. Next was the playground structures. This is the 5 to 12 structure. So the largest piece on the playground, and C was our winner at 44.0%. And there was still quite a bit of votes for the other 2. And so we were able to use some of the comments from the surveys that came in to help us understand what the people liked about those and try to incorporate some of those pieces in what you'll see tonight is the preliminary structure and plan. Next is the 2 to 5 play area. So again, the 3 options, B, the one that actually was pollinators at play, so caterpillar and our butterfly, and then this fun house that the kids can play inside and around, that got our most votes at 43.9%. Although you can see C here was a pretty close behind. And so we took that into consideration as well. Next, the swings, the group swings, our oodle swing here got the most votes at 40.4%. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a review of where the existing playground compares to the preliminary master plan. First, at the 2 to 5 play structure, there is no small structure for tots on the playground, but our new master plan does have that 2 to 5 structure. We just saw that the community picked. Next is the 5 to 12 play structure. Just a little bit of a comparison here. The total deck height, the highest spot on the existing structure is 8 foot tall. where on the new structure, it is a 14-foot that you actually could put your feet on and stand at. Next is the roof height. The highest roof right now in the existing structure is 16 foot, where the preliminary master plan structure is at 22.5 feet. Structure itself, that big 5 to 12 structure via ramp for somebody that might have mobility issues. The existing product plate does not have that access, while the new 5 to 12 structure does. And then swings, a comparison of swings where the existing has one tire swing. We have an oodle swing. It's kind of a good comparison, but it's what people chose. 4 belts, that is consistent. Our 5 bucket seats, we actually have 2 bucket seats, but the existing one has 1 ADA swing and we have 2 ADA swings. So a pretty close comparison there. Just a plan view. We look at plan view quite a bit, and you'll see that for the proposed preliminary master plans, you can kind of see this existing the existing space. So a few other features that you'll see in the preliminary master plan is we have 1,500 square feet of rubber surfacing, a little bit of an increase from the last concepts that we saw by about 50%. The additional play surface is 10,000 square feet of engineered wood fiber. We also have a new fence between the parking lot and the playground, concrete walks and entry ramps into the playground, and direct access from the playground to the shelter and the restroom. Also, there'll be a drainage system. You won't see that, but it'll keep water wicking away from the playground during rain events. And we've also added a nature trail area. Finally, site furniture. There's 6 picnic tables, 8 benches, 4 bike racks, and 6 litter receptacles that are proposed. So those are throughout the playground. So just to look at these one more time, kind of see this and this were our 2 favored plans. So with all of the updates and changes that were made, we came up with a new plan. So this is the preliminary master plan. And you're going to see lots of detail on the coming pages. But just go through this a little bit here. Here's our parking lot up at the north. And this red thing right here is the existing shelter restroom. So there's a direct access from both the parking and the shelter, as well as a really nice clear walkway between the two. Each of the entrances here and here have a vine tunnel entry, and this is our central seating space with a shade sail over it. Here is a double zip line. This is our 5 to 12 play area. Here is our 2 to 5 play area. And finally, over here is our major swing area, where we have all of our 8 swings that are really your 2 fro swings, while the oodle swing is over here in the 5 to 12 area. So we're going to go through some of the detail. I want to show one other important thing about this layout is that when you come in from the parking lot or you're going to the restroom, you're all at grade. And we've added this walkway through the playground at grade so that all users and visitors and caregivers have a really easy access to get through the playground accessibly and with a very clear route. Then as you come to this spot right here, we start ramping up, okay? And we go up 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, up to this 40 inches above grade. And that allows everyone to be able to access right onto the structure. And you can come onto it. This is a ramp, this is a deck, and you can come over here as well to this deck. And so that way that everyone has that ability to get up on the structure. And there's rubber surfacing on both sides that mound down. And so that you can also kind of run down and be part of the play from this high spot as well. Throughout this, you'll see some other green spots. They kind of has a little bit of a leaf shape here. And each of these is the rubber surfacing. So that goes right from our accessible concrete route onto rubber surfacing and allows you to get to, for this one, a transfer station and an easy access set of stairs to get into the playground. If you determine that a transfer station or that easy set of stairs is how you want to use it, what's kind of nice is you can go up to this main deck, and then you can also take that set of stairs 8 inches at each step, all the way up to the main tunnels. Same on this side. You can access over to here, and there's a set of stairs up. So we've tried to make access as easy as possible for all users, as well as fun. So the rubber surfacing also goes over here to our double zip line, and it's over here to our group spinner. So those are some extra spaces that we added to improve accessibility in the playground. A couple other things is that you'll see these guys all around are on the edges are existing trees, while the trees in the middle are proposed new trees. So there is new shade throughout the middle portions of the playground, so that as those trees grow, we increase the shade. And one of the nice things about this final layout is that every existing tree is able to be saved, and we're going to be able to capture that shade for users. All right, and finally, here's our fence between the parking lot and the playground. It doesn't completely fence the playground, so that on the back side where you kind of go out into lawn and then prairie space, that kids can run and enjoy, come out and picnic in this area here, use the nature trails, and make some of those trees and lawn areas part of the play experience. But safety first, and having that nice border between our parking area and the playground. All right, so we were just talking about green space. Added in are these 2 nature trails. So the little circles are to look like tree steppers you see this young lady using, but they're going to be a concrete stamped so that all users can have access to it. And then in between these green areas, we have a little bit of landscape. This one actually is lawn, this one's landscape, and then we have a little bit of landscape plantings in these spaces here as well, to give it some lush and pollinator spaces. All right, so let's see, we were talking about a little bit of landscape, and at each entry here, we have these vine tunnels. You can kind of see you're under one here and you're looking towards one here where they're draped with plantings that are vines. So those are at both entries. All right, so now the zip line. This double zip line allows kids to use one of 2 access. One is a full bucket seat with a harness over the top for users that need that extra support. And the other one is a sit or stand. You can see this is kind of in between the sit and stand, but you can actually just sit, or you can put your feet on it if you have a little bit more ability. And then they can glide together across it, as you can see in this the double zip line picture here. Our next highlight is our spinners. So our spinners are in 2 areas. First here, where we have 1 saddle spinner and 2 chill spinners. And again, these have really nice support, great for sitting. And this one's a little bit more challenging, needing some balance. And then we have the Omni spinner, which is a group spinner, letting lots of kids be able to play together. One kid can push, or a parent can push. And kids that have any kind of core strength or mobility issues can also easily be able to spin with others. And our shade, we have a shade sail here. As I said, this becomes kind of that central meeting spot between the many play spaces. And then this is a secondary one right before you start going up to the structure. And we have a picnic table both here, over here, and then additional picnic tables out here in the lawn. This gives you an idea of what that 12 by 12 shade sail looks like. Here's our swings. Again, that 40% oodle swing here. And you can see these guys are all lined up together so that ADA and bucket seats and belts, all the kids get to play together, as well as the oodle swing, being able to just share the experience and make friends on the playground. Okay, on to the playground structure. Just a quick reminder here, this was our top vote getter. So that is the structure that we really started enhancing to add some of the features that people were interested in. So here's our public survey here with that one. And then this one also was a winner in our very first survey. And so this is very similar to that structure. So I just want to give a quick comparison. This is the one we saw in our 3 concepts. So the highest roof line is 22.5 feet of the new structure, and the highest deck is 14 feet. And then the highest point that you can get to from an ADA with a wheelchair is 48 inches above the surface. So this is the way it lays out. So this is just a little bit bigger than the one that the community actually selected because we needed to add some additional features. That's the selected one. And then here's our new one. So the updated structure is very similar in lots of ways, but has a different net structure and has additional features both at the ground level and on deck that add to its playability. How is this structure built? When you look at that image, it's hard to see inside. And so we've kind of got some images that exploded the structure out. If you came in right at that lowest level or up on the stairs, you could enter either space here and go into the central caged area. It's wonderful wire throughout with pops of color that the kids can climb in and from deck to deck and all the way through. And then these pieces, the fun slides and climbers, get added in to these edge pieces here. Additionally, you can see this is how it all kind of goes together. These extra pops of colors and the roofs get added in to build us the entire structure. And then inside, what you can't really see in that 3D are these fun panels. We have 5 different themed panels inside. This gives you kind of an up close of how that looks. This is the mission control. So it has little pieces and parts here that go with that. There are also things you can spin and touch and have some sensory fun with. So there's the observatory down on the farm, the garage, and the game room that are all included in our structure. And we enhanced the ground level play with a wheel, climb through tunnel, a gear panel, and a drum. And then went from the TP pyramid nets to this complex net structure here. It's really different than anything else that Urbana has. And there's lots of places to climb, to sit. It really challenges the user to figure out how to use it. We also added an additional slide at this lower level here where all kids of all abilities can access, so that kids that might be coming with mobility issues or in a wheelchair or just really aren't ready yet. Maybe they're 5 years old and the big structure looks too scary. This lower area now has 2 slides, one slide over here and one slide over here. And then additionally, we made a little bit of these decks bigger and added 3 more sensory panels, one that makes music, one that's a disco, and then one that has animal faces as part of it. So each of them has a little bit of an activity that goes with it, not just something that you look at, but something you interact with or could share with a friend. And so those are, for instance, right here, right over here, and then there's a 3rd one over on this side. And then on the ground level, we realized that there were not monkey bars, and we had to have monkey bars. So we added 2 different kinds of monkey bars, this simple one, straight one here, and a little bit more complex circular one here. And those connect right over with some stepping pods to part of the structure that also has a balance beam, and then more pods to get back up. All right, so there you go. You can kind of get the whole view of the structure. And I'm going to give you just a second to take a look at that. There's a lot going on. Here's a couple other views. All right, and a little bit of a comparison here. So the matrix net here was on the structure before, and what we moved to was this grandstand piece. The difference from a height isn't a lot of difference because our top play height is about the same at 8 feet off the ground. The total height, not a whole lot different. We're 13 feet to 11.2 feet here for this guy. But our capacity is just a little bit larger on the grandstand because it has so many more pieces and parts that go on rather than just the net. It also has these belts for walking and balance, also for sitting. It has this climb through tunnel in the middle, and then more little spots on the top to make sitting and hanging out, or even some kind of game where you try to go and not touch, the pads in the middle. So not to oversell the B1, but we thought it had a little bit more interest, but maybe people really picked that for structure because they loved this net. So in the survey, we've put in this option A and B, and we really want to hear from the community on what they're interested in. All right, so let's move on to the tot area. This whole pod here is really made for our 2 to 5 year olds. And this, it's built upon this option B that everyone chose. As I said, option C was so close and the turtle seemed to be a favorite, that we pulled that turtle into the final concepts. So these are the pieces that are standalone. We have the cozy dome, great little spot to hide. It could be an asteroid from another planet, or maybe it's an underground tunnel that a mouse made. It's just really a fun, imaginative piece. Then our 9-foot-long caterpillar, our 6-foot-long turtle, and then finally a pollinator spring ride to tie it all together. And this is our 2 to 5 tot piece that you can see here with super fun colors. The climb through tunnel here, the slides, another little tunnel here, play piece. This thing has just a lot of little fun manipulatives inside, including this little clock and these turning panels here. So there's just a lot of little things to play on this, really built for the 2 to 5 year olds. And I think your 2, 3, and 4 year olds are going to be the highest users. When they hit 5, they're kind of starting to move towards that big structure. Oh, okay. So now color options. We have 3 different options to show you. We're going to show them to you on multiple views, and then also show you how the tot structure ties in, and we can make all of those colors work together, whichever option the community chooses. So this first one is called Light Bright. We have a chartreuse lime color, a deep green, and then the hints of brown you'll see throughout these panels here and here, give it kind of that wood feel to it. Then there's just a little bit of pops of colors that you'll see in each of the options, the reds, the blues, a little bit of orange. And those pops, they come with some of those fun panels we looked at earlier. So some of those pops are standard, and then many of the other colors you'll see are, we can mix them up. So let's look at a few views here. This is a roller slide. I just want to point that out. It was hard to see in some of the other views. Wonderful fun slide for all kids, but especially great for kids that might have a cochlear implant. You can't go down a plastic slide because of all the static issues. So this is one more way that we can make sure all kids are having fun on the playgrounds. Oh, so that is our Light Bright. And here's how we can pull those same fun colors into the 2 to 5. Our chartreuse is tied in right here, but we also have a little bit of a lemon drop mellow color that pulls into it, and then some fun whites and grays. Right, the next option B is called Teal Fun. As you can see, we have this great teal color. It kind of becomes that backdrop with our post. But we also pull in a dark blue, tying into the panels. Lots of gray as well. We still have that brown, and then a tangerine yellow to give it an offset color. We can bring those same tangerine and a little bit of tealish color into that 2 to 5 structure. And finally, option 3, this is called soothing tones, a little bit more tans and browns. So you see here all our posts tying into the brown that's in there, using tan as the complement color, and then this leafy green as our highlight color. And this one, the decks are also green, so you get a fair amount of green at your feet as part of this one. Here's how we can bring those greens into our 2 to 5 as well, and it all pulls together. All right, so just fun to look at them all at once to kind of see how they're different. Here they are at the 5 to 12 structure. So just to kind of go back to the preliminary master plan again, and we call it preliminary because we need to hear from you all one more time on this overall. Make sure that we got this right, that the pieces and parts are exactly what you thought, maybe better, and maybe we missed something though. So this is your chance to please take the survey and let us know what you think. Go to this, again, this is our 3rd public meeting. And if you want to take the survey or share with others, just go to the Urbana Parks website under projects, and you'll find the Meadowbrook Playground Planning page with all of the information. And we'll be continuing to work towards a final plan once we've heard from all of you. Thank you so much. I'll turn it back over to Kara.